sound discriminations. Cognitive development in the early years. Cognitive development is significantly influenced by which of the following? Is language development. Development in early years. Cognitive development significantly influenced by significantly. Between this age, most children begin to combine words into short sentences. Speaking. 18 to 24 months age. Most children to combine words, short sentence with this. Family and neighboring are primary socializing agencies. Primary socializing agencies. Family and neighborhood are. Between actually, which of the following characterize the period of a middle childhood? Middle childhood. Children begin to think logically but concretely. Middle childhood. Actually, theory of learning, which is totally and only depends on the observable behavior is associated with theory of learning. Behaviorist, theory of learning which is totally and only depends on observable behavior. Multilingual character of Indian society should be seen. A resource for enrichment of school life. B. Resource for enrichment of school life. Creative answer require open-ended question. Creative answer. Open-ended question. Diagnosis of gaps of learning students should be followed by. Diagnosis of gaps. Appropriate remedial measures. Which of the following student cannot be considered as future of learning? Study of behavior is learning. According to Piaget, during the first stage of development, birth to about 2 years age, child learns best by using the senses. According to Piaget, during the first stage of development, birth to about 2 years age, child learns best by using the senses. Child learns best by using the senses. Helping learners recall what they have already learned is important because helping learners recapitulate. Relating new information to prior knowledge enhances learning. Helping learners recapitulate or recall what they have already learned. Relating new information to prior knowledge enhance learning. शिक्षा वृद्धि पाई. The most intense and crucial socialization takes place. Most intense and crucial socializations during adolescence. Crucial in socialization, during adolescence. Heredity is considered as social structure. Heredity, static. Development of a concept of primarily a part of concept. Intellectual development, primarily part of intellectual development concept. Actually, learners should not be encouraged to encouraged to not encouraged to memorize all the answers to questions. No. Ask many questions and possible both inside and outside the class. Actively interact with the other learners. Group of what? Interact. Participate as many co-curricular activities as possible. Irfan breaks toys and dismantles them to explore their component. Breaks toys, dismantle them. She encourages inquisitive nature and channelizes energy. Statement: men are generally more intelligent than women. Shows gender bias. Understanding the principle of development. Child helps teacher. Child helps a teacher, effectively catering to the different learning style of learners. Christina took her class for a field trip. After coming back, she discussed the trip with her student, connoted as assessment of learning. The class for a field trip, and after coming back, she discussed the trip with her student. Self-regulation of learner refers to their ability to monitor their own learning. Self-regulation learners refer to. Which of the following does not reflect? Learners should be encouraged to memorize all answers. Should not. Actually, learning statement. An important recondition for the proper development of a child ensuring health physical development. It is true because the physical development is interrelated with the other domains of development. Healthy physical development with other domains of development. A teacher who firmly believes in social constructivist theory of vygotsky prefer for assessing your students. A collaborative projects. As a teacher who firmly believes to cater individual difference in his classroom, a teacher should engage in a dialogue with the students and value their perspectives. The teacher who firmly believes in social constructivist theory of vygotsky. Which of the following method would we prefer for assessing your student? Collaborative project. Learners should not be encouraged to memorize all the answer to question which the teacher may ask. Memorize all the answer to question which teacher may ask. Memorize all the answers to questions which the teacher may ask. Irfan breaks toys and components. Actually, self-regulation of learners to their ability to monitor their own learning. What of the following does not reflect teaching for misunderstanding? Misunderstanding. Enable students to memorize isolated facts and procedures. Teaching understanding. So, memorize. Not memorize. To explain phenomena concept for their own words. Teach a student to provide example, illustrate how a law works, illustrate, describe. Here students see similarities and differences in generate analogies. Which are the relation between actually which are the relation between Plato and Aristotle. Aristotle was student of Plato. The Apology the Plato recollections of a speech given by Socrates when Socrates was charged with not believing in gods. Not a recollection of speech given by Socrates. Not believing in gods. According to Socrates, physical objects and events are dash of the ideal. Shadows. According to Socrates, physical objects and events are shadows of their ideals. According to the theory of forms of theory of ideals, material world is an material world image of real world, material world. The first institution of higher learning in the Western world. Academy was founded by the first institution of higher learning. Was founded in Athens. Higher learning in the Western world. Academy. Plato was founded by Academy. An dash assessment is one which measure what is intended to measure. Valid. A valid assessment is one which measures. Assessment is dash if it constantly achieves the same result with the same similar student. Reliable. Assessment reliable. Vishwas. Achieves the same result with the same of similar student. An assessment that is carried on through the course is called formative assessment. An assessment that is conducted prior to the start of teaching or instruction is called initial assessment. Start of teaching. In education, this is used to make inference about the learning and development. Assessment. Inference about the learning and development of students. Assessment. Is cooperative learning method. The role of a teacher is of facilitator and delegator. In cooperative method, the teachers act as delegator, means the teacher acts as a resource. Resources. Cooperative method, teacher acts as delegator. Dialect or dialectical method of is a discourse between two through. Dialect or dialectical method is a discourse between opposing parties to establish truth through reasoned arguments. Research. Dialect or dialectical method of discourse between opposing parties to establish truth. Reasoned arguments. Dialectic method of inquiry was a contributed by Socrates. Dialectic method. Epistemology is the branch of a philosophy. Theory of knowledge. Epistemology. What are the relation between Socrates and Plato? Student of Socrates. Student of Socrates. Summative. Summative assessment is an assessment based learning. Summative assessment is assessment of learning. An assessment is to identify difficulties. Identify difficulties in the learning process. Diagnostic assessment is in the learning process. And an assessment used to determine a person's ability in particular fields of study is called person's ability. Field studies is called aptitude test. Aptitude test. Assessment used to determine a person's ability. Reliability of assessment related to reliability of an assessment relates to the days of assessment. Consistency. Reliability of an assessment relates to consistency. Consistency. Validity of an assessment relates to dash of an assessment. Validity of an assessment relates to relevance. Relevance. Validity of an assessment relates to the process of looking what is being assessed. Looking. Evaluation. Process of looking what being assessed. Evaluation. Each teacher, how much of the following is the amount to sanction in the Sarva Shiksha Abhijan? As a grant, 500 rupees. Each teacher, how much following is the amount to sanction in the Sarva Shiksha Abhijan? 500 rupees. And which of the following has encouraged community intervention in the management of primary education under National Education Policy? Intervention. Village Education Committee. Management. Community intervention in the management of primary education. Village Education Committee. Following is an important objective of decentralization of primary education. Decentralization, inclusion, education, integration and public cooperation in education, communism of education. Communization. Which of the following constitutional amendment encourage the empowerment of rights sanction on society in education? 73rd, 74th. Following constitutional amendment encourage the empowerment of rights. Which of the following labels will play important role in promoting the pace of literacy by the National Literacy Mission? Actually, national level, state level and district level. Which of the following label it play an important role in promoting pace of literacy? Pace of literacy by the National Literacy Mission. Level, state level and district level. Actually, district teaching and training institute diet has been established. Primary education, district level. Knowledge of is most important for the teacher dealing with class student of mixed age group. Knowledge is most important. Knowledge is most important. Dealing with class student. Development stages. Suppose you are the chairman of the board of school education. How will you make a quantity of education of school? Falling under. Available divergent. Listen, an example of available divergent. Following the feature of choose challenge. Motivation. Choice of challenge. Which encouraging activity would be to invite visitors to class? Creating sourcing an authentic situation. This is more open and more inclusive than going to school. Study is more open. School. An encouraging activity would be to invite visitors to the class. Creating or sourcing authentic situations. Authentic situations. Actually, the following statement cannot be considered as a feature of learning. Study of behavior is learning. Considered as a feature of learning. Study of behavior is learning. Learning is a process that mediates behavior. Learning is something that occurs as a result of certain experiences. Study of behavior is learning. ଭଲ ତ ସେ ଅଛି ସାଡ଼େ ଯାଏ ଠିକ୍ ଗଲାଣି କାନେ ଏକ type of learning totally and only depends on observable behavior. Behaviorist multilingual character of Indian society will be seen as multilingual character. Resource of enrichment of school life. Creative answers require open-end question. Diagnosis of the gaps in the learning of students should be followed by. Diagnosis of the gaps in the learning of students should be followed by. Appropriate remedial measures. Appropriate remedial measures. Diagnosis of gaps in the learning students should be followed by. Appropriate remedial measures. Which are the See, study of behavior is learning and cannot be considered as the feature of learning. Study of behavior is learning. ଖାଇବୁ ନ ଫିଲ୍ ଲାଗିବନି ଖାଇବୁନି। Important precondition for the proper development of a child is ensuring his or her healthy physical development. Proper development of a child is ensuring. Is it true because physical development is integrated with other domains? Other domains. As a teacher who firmly believes on social constructive theory of lab, following method would you prefer for assessing a student? Collaborative project. Social constructive theory of lab vygotsky. Would you prefer for assessing your student? Collaborative project. Following methods would you prefer for assessing a student? Collaborative project. Collaborative projects. Who firmly believes in social contract theory. For assessing a student. Collaborative project. To cater to individual individual differences in the classroom, a teacher should have uniform and standard ways of teaching and assessment. To cater individual differences in his classroom. Engage in dialogue with the student and value their perspectives. To cater to individual differences in his classroom. So engage in dialogue with the student and value their perspective. Assessment is purposeful if it serves as feedback for the student as well as teachers. Assessment.